I want to preface this by saying that I very much enjoy the manga of Boruto, however, I despise the anime. Not that the anime doesn't do anything right. For example, they have great openings, and of course, they have really good animation. And that's about all I could really say that I enjoy out of the anime, if I'm being honest. I mean, it literally took them 55 episodes to get into the first chapter of the manga, and that's pretty cash grabby to me. The manga only has 53 chapters out right now, and the anime has 181 episodes. The anime is weekly, and the manga is monthly. The anime couldn't even wait a whole year of the manga being out before they started adapting it. That means that they would have about 11 to 12 chapters out in the manga. Therefore, it would only take them about the same amount of time converted into weeks, so about like 11
12 weeks, and by that time that they finish that, it's been about 3 to 4 months, and so the manga will probably have like 4 more chapters out that they could adapt for another 4 weeks. That leads into one more chapter into one
more episode, and then they bottleneck themselves. To get around this, they made 54 episodes of filler before they proceeded on to their first canon arc. And let me tell you, this filler panders so heavily to their young, new Japanese audience that didn't even grow up watching Naruto. That's who they promote the show to. And that's a shame because we don't get a lot of the same elements in Boruto that we got in the original Naruto series. Just look at these memes, for example.
You pick up your palette knife and then work that into your meat. Give your meat a good old rub. That's it. Nice and hot. Hot and spicy meat. Yeah, boy. That's it. That lovely?
I'm 100% always going with Sasuke surviving a battle against the highest tier ninja we've seen in the series so far, and then getting infected by his curse mark, going pretty much insane and completely ruthlessly breaking this dude's arms and attempting to kill his friends. That's 100% better than Sai's kid learning how to make paintings of goofy, silly characters. Like, yeah, okay, those kind of things have their place, but not in a series that has some really heavy tones and has, a lot of high action. It has death. It has a lot of philosophy in it, and we don't get any of that in Boruto, especially not in any of the fights. And the anime in episode to episode is very formulaic, and of course, almost every show is formulaic, of course. However, their formula is similar to a kids' TV show. Not only are kids their highest demographic of viewers, the female section of the kids under 18 is actually their highest rated average viewers. Compare this to Shippuden, and they didn't have nearly as many young females watching as males. And this isn't just me saying that females watching a series like Naruto is bad. What I'm saying is that they typically lean towards more shows that are lighthearted and, similar to the style of Boruto. Not as serious in terms of this person wanting to kill this person and then actually going through with it and actually killing that person. They aren't as into that kind of thing, and that's not me being sexist and trying to divide people by their gender, but that's just statistically how it is. And so there's a trend that they're pandering, to a younger female audience. Take Beastars, for example. They have a higher female audience than a male audience. Take JoJo Bizarre Adventure, for example. They have a significantly higher male average viewer. And there's a very clear distinction between those two shows, not only in their tone, but in their storytelling. I mean, just look at the characters we have in Boruto. Boruto is literally just somebody who doesn't like his dad because he works all day. Look at the first person we were introduced to. That wasn't a kind of similar, I don't want to say established character because it is a new character, but he's basically a carbon copy of Shikamaru. So we kind of already have an established character in Shikadai. Really, the first new character we get is Denki, and Denki is kind of a bitch, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the first episode of Boruto compared to the first episode of Naruto, it's night and day, the difference between the tone of the series. The message of Boruto's first episode is, like, stand up to your bullies and all that, right? Which is cool, it's a fine message. But the first episode of Naruto's message is that we got this little orphan who has a demon inside of him that's being taken advantage of by a higher up Jonin to steal secrets from the village that, if got into the wrong hands, could pretty much start a war. Or at the very least, expose the secrets of the village, which is a very big deal. Through this episode, we get established characters. You know, we got the old grandpa Hokage. We got the sensei Iruka, who actually has some chemistry with Naruto. He has to get over the fact that Naruto is literally the physical embodiment of the demon that killed his parents, and he gets over that in the first episode. There's a lot of growth in the first episode. It established bonds, it established characters, it established motives, and Boruto doesn't really do all of that. It just kind of says, oh, okay, here's Boruto. He's already like a super awesome great ninja, hasn't even started the academy yet and can already do 3 shadow clones. But oh wait, he doesn't even like ninja. And it's all so bad. I mean, come on. You're really gonna show the Jogan in the first episode of Boruto like it's no big deal? The Jogan is supposed to be one of the most powerful abilities in the entire series. And basically, they just use it as a prop to show that there's a demon running around that makes people do bad things. And I don't even think the demon gets anybody to do anything that bad, honestly. Dinky nearly kills somebody, but it doesn't matter. It's inconsequential because nobody gets hurt, and the damage that was caused by it was completely paid for, not by the village, but by a personal investment into it, right? Boruto's just like super chill about destroying the Hokage monument. That's a lot worse than painting the Hokage monument, especially considering that your dad's the Hokage, and when Naruto did it, there wasn't really much to do other than just wipe the paint off. You know, he didn't cause tons and tons of damage, long-lasting damage to the Hokage monument. But my biggest grievance with the Boruto, especially the pilot episode, is that it brings us into this future where all the monuments are destroyed, the Leaf Village is in shambles, all we see is Kawaki and Boruto. They're in a life or death battle, they have all these cool abilities. Boruto has Sasuke's cloak and sword, and there's all these questions. He has the Jogan, and you're really confused. You're like, okay, what's going on? This is going to be a really cool series, leading up to this point, because this is really interesting. And then it drops you into Boruto. And it was very, 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 very disappointing. It did not live up to that first 1 minute at all. And it hasn't really lived up to it at all in the anime. Really, the only good things about the anime is like 2 or 3 filler arcs, like the Momoshiki retrieval and the Land of Waves arc. But other than that, we don't really get anything good outside of the canon episodes, which are very few and far between. And again, I want to say I really do enjoy the manga. It basically takes all the potential Boruto series had, and it comes through on that potential. It has some really cool stuff that's going on in the newer chapters. Not going to get into that for, spoiler reasons, but really good series. Has a lot more serious of a tone. The Mujina Bandix arc was it was probably the worst arc in all of Naruto ever. That was canon. However, it still isn't bad. It's still good, and it fits into the Boruto series well, considering their skill level and what's been going on in the world. Also, earlier when I said there's only like 2 to 3 good arcs, I'm not including the time travel / Urashiki arc in there, because holy shit, did that arc completely destroy Sasuke's character, build up one of the worst villains in the entire series, and give us some really terrible moments, all of the quote-unquote development we got in that entire arc, we already got the exact same development in a better way than in that arc through the Momoshiki arc. The Momoshiki arc not only had growth for Boruto in the exact same way, but it also simultaneously developed Naruto, and so they had a mutual growth and a mutual understanding of each other, and that doesn't happen in the time travel arc. It's more so only on Boruto's side. However, in terms of Boruto's side, he already got that exact same development in the Momoshiki arc, which brings up another point about the anime, which is that it just cycles through Boruto's character. Every episode is supposed to give some growth to a character, but anytime it has any growth to do with Boruto, it always completely disregards that development in the next episode. Take, for example, if you watch the Momoshiki arc and you get to the last episode, you've had all this development with Boruto's character, and you get to the next episode, and he's completely the exact same as he was at the beginning of the series, and it's kind of annoying considering how impactful the Momoshiki arc was and how good of an arc it was. It was really, really good. I'm talking like it was probably better than the 4 Shinobi World War, and it's up there with stuff like the Konoha Crush, the Kazekage Retrieval arc. Like that's how good the Momoshiki arc was. Momoshiki was a lot better of a villain than Kaguya. The way they defeated him was actually really smart, and it wasn't like super crazy power ramping, because there's a debate on Kaguya being better than Momoshiki. I'm of the opinion that Kaguya is stronger, but that's not what we're here to talk about. And the last thing that I want to say is more just a nitpick, and it's very subjective, and it doesn't really have anything to do with story at all. It's more so the style of the anime. While it does have really good animation, the style is very loose and round, and it's not as sharp and as edgy as the original Naruto, which is kind of upsetting. It does match the tone of the series better, so I'll give it props for that. However, the style in the anime compared to the manga is pretty different. The manga has some pretty interesting art, and it wasn't really adapted into the anime. The anime is a lot more streamlined with its characters, and the manga has a lot more realistic vibes to it, still in a manga style, but more detailed, and I kind of appreciate that more.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.